9 intimate needs every woman has, but only 1% of men can satisfy psychology tricks. Let me be straight with you for a moment. There's a good chance you've been trying the wrong way. And the hardest part? You honestly believed you were doing everything right. You're a good man, you show up, you respond quickly, you care deeply. You think, if I'm kind enough, patient enough, consistent enough, she'll appreciate me. But then something confusing happens. She pulls away, the spark fades, and sometimes she chooses a man who doesn't seem half as considerate as you are. It feels unfair, it hurts, and it doesn't make sense, at least on the surface. But here's the truth most men are never told. Attraction doesn't operate on logic. It works on deep psychological and emotional triggers, many of them subconscious, instinctive, and rooted far deeper than words or good intentions. When you rely only on being agreeable, available, and predictable, you don't come across as loving, you come across as safe, but invisible. Not because you lack value, but because you're giving without boundaries, without presence, without emotional gravity. Today, I'm going to uncover 9 core emotional needs that quietly shape how women bond, desire, and stay connected. They function like a hidden code, one most men were never taught. And the final one? It's not about control or manipulation, but when you understand it and live it authentically, you become the kind of man a woman feels deeply connected to, because with you, she feels seen, understood, and emotionally secure. So don't blame yourself. Society fed men a comforting lie. Be nice. Be endlessly available. Never rock the boat. But real love requires more than kindness alone. It requires strength, emotional leadership, and quiet confidence. Get ready, because what comes next may completely change how you understand love, connection, and your role as a man in a relationship. 1. She wants to be devoured, not admired from a distance. She doesn't want to be admired from afar like a painting behind glass. She wants to be felt, chosen, and unmistakably wanted. In female psychology, desire is not about loud words or dramatic speeches. It is about presence, intention, and certainty. That is where most men get confused. They mistake respect for distance. They confuse kindness with hesitation. And then they wonder why the spark quietly fades. Don't put her on a pedestal. That is distance disguised as praise. Be close. Be grounded. Be unmistakably there. Admiration without hunger feels cold. Affection without desire feels polite, and polite love slowly turns into friendship wearing the mask of romance. You may say, "I love you beautifully," and that matters. But words alone don't stir the body or awaken the heart. That is simply how female psychology works. This is where subtle psychology tricks come in. Not manipulative ones, human ones, the kind that come from understanding how attraction actually breathes. Don't look at her like she might disappear if you touch her. Look at her like you already know she wants to be pulled closer. Let your eyes travel slowly, calmly, with confidence. No apology, no rush. Certainty is felt before it is heard. When she notices your gaze, don't look away. Hold it. That is not arrogance. That is reassurance. Add a small, knowing smile, not to perform, to communicate. Eye contact is one of the oldest ways how to fall in love begins again, even after many years together. Touch her with intention, not constantly, not nervously, intentionally. A steady hand at her waist when you walk together. A gentle pull when you speak quietly. That is leadership without pressure, desire without desperation. You must understand this clearly. Desire born from calm strength invites closeness. Desire born from insecurity pushes it away. Don't chase her approval. Choose her. Being chosen daily is one of the deepest unspoken needs in female psychology. This is one of those psychology tricks that works because it is not a trick at all. It is alignment between what you feel and how you act. Every so often, stop the noise of the world. Pause the movement. Look at her fully, not halfway, not distracted. Say something simple and true. Let her know she has an effect on you. Impact is intoxicating when it is sincere, and sincerity is one of the fastest ways how to fall in love keeps renewing itself over time. Don't confuse intensity with drama. Intensity is quiet, steady, grounded. It shows in how you stand, how you listen, how you touch, how you allow silence to exist. Silence paired with confidence feels safe and exciting. At the same time, be clear, be present, be embodied. That is what separates the few men who are deeply desired from the many who are merely liked. This truth does not change with age. Whether you are 35 or 70, attraction responds to the same signals: clarity, direction, warmth. Don't ask her to convince you of her value. See it, respond to it. When a woman feels fully seen and fully wanted, not evaluated or placed out of reach, her heart opens naturally. That is not fantasy. That is lived female psychology. You must remember this. Love is not proven by restraint alone. It is revealed through confident closeness. It shows when you choose her with your body as well as your words. When desire is allowed to exist without guilt, without performance. When this becomes consistent, not perfect but honest, you step into a space very few men ever reach. A place where attraction deepens instead of fading, where connection feels alive instead of routine, and where how to fall in love stops being about effort and becomes about alignment. That is why these simple psychology tricks, used with integrity, quietly change everything. 2. Be unpredictable or be forgettable. Be unpredictable or be forgettable. That line is not a threat, it is a mirror. If you are wondering why she slowly lost interest, why her energy changed, why her attention drifted, start here. Because you became an open book she already read 1,000 times. Same routine, same conversations, same emotional rhythm every single day. And while consistency builds trust, predictability without depth quietly kills attraction. That is not cruelty. That is human nature. Human brains are wired to stop noticing what never changes. Familiar patterns fade into the background. So if you want connection to stay alive, you must break the pattern without breaking the bond. Don't confuse unpredictability with chaos. This is not about acting strange or unstable. Be grounded, be intentional, be alive. Some days you are open, affectionate, and fully present. You listen, you engage, you create emotional safety. Other days you are focused, busy, unavailable, not cold, not distant, simply engaged with your own mission. That contrast matters, because a high-value man is not emotionally absent, but he is also not always on standby. He has direction. He has priorities. He has a life that continues even when she is not watching. Don't explain yourself excessively. That is important. When you narrate every move, you remove mystery. When you over-clarify, you drain tension. Be transparent, yes, but don't overshare your every thought. That is not intimacy. That is self-exposure without boundaries. You must leave space for curiosity. Mystery isn't a game. It is fuel for attraction. And that fuel keeps the emotional engine warm long after novelty fades. One day, go deep. Talk about values, meaning, life, the kind of conversations that make time disappear. Ask questions that don't have easy answers. Listen without fixing. Be present without rushing. Then the next day, lighten the tone. Tease. Laugh. Change the rhythm. Be playful. Be unexpected. Attraction grows when emotional experiences vary. Predictable affection feels safe. Varied connection feels alive. You must offer both. Don't ask permission for every decision. That matters more than most men realize. Make plans. Choose the restaurant. Pick the road trip route. Decide when to leave. Not because you don't care about her input, but because decisiveness signals confidence. And confidence is deeply tied to masculine energy. When you constantly check in for approval, you quietly communicate uncertainty. When you decide calmly and clearly, you communicate stability. That stability is attractive. Be careful here. This is not about control. It is about direction. A high-value man leads with clarity, not force. He invites. He doesn't push. He decides, and he remains open. That balance is what allows women to relax into attraction rather than analyze it. And when she feels that ease, connection deepens naturally. Don't revolve your entire schedule around her. That is a slow mistake. When your life shrinks to fit one person, attraction begins to suffocate. You must maintain your world, your work, your interests, your friendships, not to appear busy, but because you actually are. When a man has momentum, he becomes magnetic. When he pauses his life to wait, he becomes predictable, and predictability unchecked becomes forgettable. Surprise her in small ways. Change the plan midday. Suggest something spontaneous. Take a different route home. Introduce a new experience. These are not grand gestures. They are signals. Signals that you are awake, that you are engaged, that you are not living on autopilot. And autopilot is the enemy of attraction. Don't be emotionally flat. That is another trap. If every response sounds the same, if every interaction carries the same tone, interest fades. Vary your emotional range. Be warm when warmth is needed. Be playful when lightness fits. Be serious when meaning matters. Emotional flexibility is a strength. It shows confidence in self-expression. And self-expression rooted in masculine energy feels authentic, not performative. Be present without being predictable. That balance is rare. That is why only a small percentage of men naturally attract women long-term without chasing. They don't cling. They don't disappear. They stay centered. They stay curious. They stay engaged with life itself. And life, when lived fully, is attractive. Don't mistake mystery for silence. Silence without presence feels empty. Mystery with presence feels intriguing. When you step back, do it with purpose. When you lean in, do it fully. Half energy confuses. Full energy, varied wisely, excites. You must commit to your own internal clarity first. Attraction follows alignment, not strategy. Be aware of routine creep. It sneaks in quietly. Same texts, same timing, same phrases, same emotional beats. Break it gently. Change how you show affection. Change when you initiate. Change the pace. Not to keep her guessing, but to keep the connection alive. Consistency builds trust. Variation builds desire. You need both. A high-value man does not try to impress constantly. He allows discovery. He lets layers unfold over time. He does not rush intimacy. He deepens it. And deepening requires space. Space to wonder. Space to feel. Space to miss. Don't remove all space in the name of closeness. That is not closeness. That is saturation. Be unpredictable in the right ways. Stable in your values. Flexible in expression. Clear in direction. Open in connection. That combination activates masculine energy without words. It is felt, not announced. And what is felt lingers longer than what is explained. You must understand this clearly. Attraction is not maintained by repetition alone. It is maintained by presence plus variation, by leadership plus warmth, by independence plus connection. When you embody that balance, you naturally attract women without forcing outcomes. And when attraction feels natural, interest doesn't need to be chased. It stays. So don't aim to be mysterious for effect. Aim to be engaged with life. Don't try to be unpredictable. Be authentic and evolving. Growth itself creates unpredictability. A man who is growing never becomes boring. He remains interesting because he remains in motion. Be unpredictable or be forgettable, not because she demands it, because attraction does. If this hit home, prove you understand it. Drop a comment right now saying, "I choose mystery over mediocrity." Like the video, subscribe for more unshakable psychological insight, and remember this: attraction dies in predictability, but it lives in purpose. 3. Disagree or disappear. Here's the truth most men learn too late, and it sits at the core of the 9 intimate needs every woman has, but almost no man fulfills. A woman does not want a mirror that reflects her every word. She wants a man who stands in his own center. Agreement without thought is not kindness. It is fear disguised as politeness, and fear is never attractive. When you nod at everything, approve everything, and erase yourself to keep the peace, you don't come across as caring. You come across as someone begging for acceptance. As Mark Twain warned, whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. Reflection is where character is forged. Character is what women feel before they can explain it. In modern life, where social media rewards approval and men are trained to avoid conflict at all costs, the rare man is the one who can calmly say, I see this differently. No raised voice, no tension, no apology. Calm disagreement signals certainty. Certainty creates safety. One of a woman's deepest intimate needs is knowing the man beside her has an iron mind, not a loud mouth, not emotional swings, inner steadiness, the kind born from old Stoic wisdom. You know who you are. You don't perform for validation. When a woman challenges your opinion, questions your decision, or tests a boundary, she is not asking you to surrender. She is asking you to reveal yourself. When you respond with clarity instead of collapse, something powerful happens inside her. Carl Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. A man who accepts himself does not vanish under pressure. This is where Stoicism win becomes real, not as theory, as behavior. You don't argue to win. You state your position to stand. That distinction changes everything. Another intimate need is intellectual tension. Two minds meeting without one dissolving into the other. Harmony without contrast is dull. Passion without respect does not last. When you calmly say, no, that's not how I see it, you are not creating distance. You are creating polarity. Polarity keeps attraction alive for decades, not months. Modern men are told that being agreeable equals being good. But goodness without direction becomes invisible. Invisibility kills desire. Leadership of self preserves respect. Iron mind discipline keeps attraction intact even during disagreement. This does not mean being harsh or rigid, it means being precise. Precision is attractive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That single rule can guide every conversation with a woman. Only 1% of men live this at a behavioral level. They understand that a woman's emotional security grows when she sees you won't abandon your principles to keep things smooth. Smooth surfaces often hide resentment. Resentment poisons intimacy. Another intimate need is consistency. The man she is with today must still be himself tomorrow. Consistency comes from Stoicism when thinking. Your values are not negotiated under pressure. In a world of shifting identities and endless opinions, the man grounded in old Stoic wisdom stands out. Not because he is louder, because he is stable. Stability is rare. When you say no without anger, hold a line without drama, and disagree without withdrawing affection, you communicate maturity. Maturity is magnetic. Attraction is built on respect earned through self-command. Friedrich Nietzsche said, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Your why is living in alignment with your inner code, not chasing approval. Look at modern relationships. They fail not from too much conflict, but from too little honesty, from swallowed opinions, from years of self-erasure that turn passion into quiet coexistence. Speaking your truth early, calmly, and firmly is not risky. It is preventive maintenance for love. The instruction is simple. Stop disappearing in conversations. Stop trading your spine for comfort. Stop confusing silence with peace. Peace built on self-erasure never lasts. Cultivate an iron mind through reflection, discipline, and deliberate speech. Return to old Stoic wisdom. Let Stoicism win in daily choices. You will meet a woman's deepest intimate needs without tricks, manipulation, or performance. Only presence, only clarity, only self-respect. That is how a man masters relationships. That is how a man masters life. That is victory. 4. Create tension or create boredom. Create tension or create boredom. That is the quiet fork in the road every man steps on to the moment he enters a room with a woman he desires, because attraction does not grow from noise or nervous effort. It grows from energy you can feel but cannot see, an invisible current that hums beneath the words, beneath the smiles, beneath the space between two bodies, and you must decide which current you're feeding. Be present. Don't perform. Look at her in the eyes, not the way you look at a cashier or a colleague, but the way you look when you're fully awake, when your attention is steady and unbroken, when you're not asking for approval but offering awareness, because intensity is not aggression and confidence is not volume. It is calm focus. It is the ability to stay right where you are without rushing to fill the air. Lower your voice, slow your pace, let your words land instead of spill. Pause on purpose. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is pressure, and pressure, when used with care, becomes magnetism. When she says something playful or provocative, don't jump to respond like you're trying to win points. Don't explain. Don't justify. Just look at her for a moment longer than expected. Let a small, knowing smile appear, then say less than she anticipates, because mystery keeps the mind engaged, and this is where female psychology quietly does its work, not through tricks meant to manipulate, but through presence that feels grounded and rare. Stay physically close, not crowded, not careless, just close enough that awareness sharpens, and when your arm brushes hers or your fingers briefly guide her movement, do it deliberately, not as an accident and not as a demand, because intention communicates safety and desire at the same time, and that balance is what most men never learn. Be slow, be precise, nothing rushed, everything chosen. This is how tension is built, not with bold declarations, but with restraint that signals confidence, with touch that feels considered rather than hungry, with pauses that invite her imagination to participate. And imagination is where how to fall in love often begins long before either person admits it. Don't confuse being nice with being neutral. Kindness matters, but neutrality kills attraction, and attraction needs polarity, a sense that something is happening beneath the surface even when nothing obvious is being said. This is why men who rush to explain themselves, who answer too quickly, who fill every gap with words, often end up invisible, not because they lack value, but because they never allow tension to form, never allow her to lean in emotionally or mentally. Use this understanding wisely. Psychology tricks are not about control, they are about awareness, about recognizing that attention, pace, and presence shape emotional experience more than clever lines ever will. And when you master that awareness, you step into a small minority of men who understand that attraction is co-created in the quiet moments. Be steady, be intentional. Don't chase reactions, create space for them. This approach respects female psychology because it honors choice, curiosity, and emotional safety, and it aligns with how to fall in love in a way that feels natural rather than forced. When you hold eye contact without staring, when you touch without rushing, when you speak without flooding the moment, you communicate confidence without saying the word, and that confidence is felt, not argued. This is the difference between being remembered and being filed away as harmless, between chemistry that lingers and conversations that fade, between men who are seen as options and men who are felt as experiences. Use psychology tricks ethically, as tools for self-mastery rather than persuasion. Understand female psychology as a language of emotion rather than a puzzle to solve. And remember that how to fall in love is rarely about doing more, but about doing less with greater intention, because tension, when handled with respect and clarity, becomes connection. And connection, when nurtured patiently, becomes something far deeper than attraction alone. If this message hit home, don't just scroll past it. Like the video, subscribe for more insight that most men never hear, and share it with someone who needs to stop being overlooked. Now, engage with the channel. Comment this sentence below and lock it into your mindset. Attraction is built in silence, intention, and controlled tension. 5. She needs to be afraid of losing you. She needs to be afraid of losing you. That sentence makes some men uncomfortable, not because it's cruel, but because it exposes a truth most people never explain clearly. Attraction does not grow from constant availability. It grows from value, from direction, from a life that is already full. Total availability kills attraction every single time. When you cancel everything for her, reply instantly no matter the hour, rearrange your world at the smallest hint of attention, you may believe you are showing devotion, but that is not how it lands. You don't look in love, you look desperate. And desperation, whether you like the phrase or not, is emotional birth control. It shuts desire down before it even has a chance to breathe. Don't argue with this. Observe it. Notice how excitement fades when mystery disappears. Notice how interest cools when effort becomes guaranteed. Be clear about this. Living your life is not a tactic, it is a requirement. You must live with purpose, with momentum, with or without her in the picture. Chase your goals because they matter to you, not because they impress anyone else. Keep your friends because they ground you, challenge you, and remind you who you were before attraction ever entered the room. Protect your routines, protect your time. That is not selfishness, that is structure. And structure is attractive. A high value man does not revolve his life around one person he barely knows. He invites her into a life that already has weight and direction. That difference is subtle, but women feel it immediately. When she senses that you would be fine without her, something deep inside her wakes up. Not fear in the dramatic sense, but awareness. The awareness that your attention is earned, not guaranteed. The awareness that your presence is a choice, not a plea. That quiet realization creates emotional tension, and tension is where desire lives. The fear of losing you is not about manipulation, it is about value recognition. People protect what feels scarce and meaningful. They neglect what feels endlessly available. That fear, when born naturally from your independence, becomes gasoline for desire because it activates curiosity, respect, and emotional investment all at once. Don't mistake independence for distance. This is where many men get confused. Pulling away to provoke a reaction is not strength. Being busy building a life that matters is strength. Be warm when you're present. Be focused when you're apart. You don't need to disappear. You need to remain grounded. Masculine energy is not loud or performative. It is calm. It is directional. It moves forward whether anyone is watching or not. When you embody that, you naturally attract women without chasing them, because attraction follows certainty the way a compass follows north. Needy men become replaceable, not because they lack kindness, but because they lack boundaries. When your entire emotional world hinges on her responses, her moods, her availability, you hand over your center. And once your center is gone, so is the polarity that creates attraction. Independent men, on the other hand, are compelling because they stand on their own feet. They choose connection rather than needing it. That choice is felt. It shows up in the way you speak, the way you wait, the way you don't panic when a message goes unanswered. Be patient. Be composed. That is not indifference. That is self-respect. You must understand this if you want to attract women consistently and meaningfully. Desire is not negotiated. It is experienced. And experience is shaped by contrast. Presence has power only when absence is possible. If you are always there, always available, always agreeable, there is no contrast, no edge, no emotional signal to respond to. A high-value man creates contrast simply by having a life that continues to move forward. His attention feels valuable because it is not his only currency. Don't abandon your mission the moment attraction appears. That is the fastest way to lose both. Be disciplined about your goals. Be loyal to your path. Invite her to walk beside you, not to replace your direction. When she feels that you are building something real, something enduring, she doesn't just want your time. She wants to be part of your journey. That is how attraction deepens instead of evaporates. That is how masculine energy expresses itself without force or pressure. This is not about playing games. Games create anxiety. Clarity creates trust. The clarity that you enjoy her presence, but you do not depend on it. The clarity that you value connection, but you do not sacrifice yourself to maintain it. That balance is rare. That balance is what separates men who are temporarily interesting from men who are emotionally unforgettable. If you want to attract women who respect you, desire you, and invest in you, start by respecting your own time, your own direction, and your own standards. Be steady, be intentional, don't overgive, don't over-explain, don't disappear into someone else's orbit. You must remain the center of your own life. When you do, attraction becomes a natural byproduct, not a struggle. High-value man is not a title you claim. It is a pattern you live. Attract women not by chasing approval, but by building a life worth joining. Masculine energy flows from purpose, not pressure. And when she feels that losing you would mean losing access to that strength, that clarity, that forward motion, desire doesn't need to be forced. It ignites on its own. 6. Lead or be led. Leadership is not loud, rushed, or anxious. It is quiet certainty, and women feel it instantly. No woman wants to feel like she must manage the moment, manage the emotions, or manage the direction. She wants to relax into trust, and trust only grows when a man decides, moves, and stands firm without drama. When you say, "Let's go over there," and you mean it, you remove friction from life. You remove mental noise. You create safety, not by force, but by clarity. This is not about control, it is about presence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and the man who leads well thinks clearly before he speaks, before he moves, before he acts. Hesitation breeds tension. Calm direction creates ease." This is old Stoic wisdom applied to modern life, where chaos is constant and attention is fragmented. The man with an iron mind cuts through uncertainty by choosing a path and walking it steadily. Women do not want a caretaker. They want a guide, not someone who asks 20 questions to avoid responsibility, but someone who reads the room, senses the energy, and makes a clean decision. Leadership is not about being right every time. It is about being grounded every time. Grounded men handle problems without panic, without theatrics, without emotional spillover. Desire grows around certainty because certainty signals competence and competence signals safety. Insecure behavior drains energy. Secure behavior restores it. This is why Stoicism win is not a slogan. It is a discipline, a way of showing up daily with emotional self-command. When you guide her through a crowded room with ease, when you handle setbacks without spiraling, when you choose dinner without outsourcing the decision, you communicate something deeper than words. You communicate that life is manageable around you. Theodore Roosevelt said, "In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing, and the worst thing is nothing." Nothing is exactly what hesitation feels like to the people around you, especially to a woman who wants to lean back into her natural softness instead of bracing herself against uncertainty. Leadership is not arrogance. It is responsibility embraced willingly. In a world where men are trained to second-guess every instinct, the man who sharpens his discipline and lives by old Stoic wisdom becomes rare and deeply attractive. Modern relationships suffer not from lack of affection, but from lack of direction. Direction does not mean rigidity. It means decisiveness paired with empathy, strength paired with calm, movement paired with awareness. When you embody that balance, you give her permission to relax, to trust, to feel desire without resistance. Desire flows where tension dissolves. This is why building an iron mind matters more than chasing approval. Approval seeking erodes polarity. Self-command restores it. Stoicism win shows up when you solve problems quietly, when you hold your frame under pressure, when you lead without announcing that you are leading. True leadership needs no advertisement. Peter Drucker said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." Every decisive moment handled with calm authority creates a future where respect, attraction, and trust compound. Men who lead well do not react to life. They shape it. When you shape life with intention, others follow naturally, not because they are pushed, but because they feel safe walking beside you. This is the path of victory, the path of mastery, the path where you stop drifting and start directing, where you stop asking for permission and start offering clarity. Where old Stoic wisdom sharpens your choices, Stoicism win hardens your resolve, and an iron mind becomes your silent signature. Felt in every room, remembered long after you leave, respected because it never begs, never panics, and never hesitates when it matters most. 7. Your approval must be rare, like a diamond. Your approval must be rare, not withheld out of cruelty, not dangled as a game, but earned like something real. Because when approval is everywhere, it becomes invisible. And when it is invisible, it loses all meaning. That is the paradox most men never learn. They praise too fast, too often, too easily, and then they wonder why it stops landing, why her eyes don't light up anymore, Why "you're amazing" feels like background noise instead of connection. Because constant praise flattens emotion. It turns something powerful into something cheap. And female psychology responds very clearly to this. Abundant validation feels empty. Rare validation feels valuable. You must understand this without bitterness, without manipulation, without fear, because this is not about control. It is about resonance, about how the human mind assigns worth. Psychology tricks only work when they align with truth, and the truth is simple. People value what is scarce and meaningful, not what is handed out freely. So don't praise everything. Don't react to every photo. Don't rush to applaud every small thing. That is not strength. That is anxiety disguised as kindness. And women feel that difference instantly. They may smile, but inside they disengage. Because when praise costs nothing, it means nothing. But when she does something that reflects intelligence, composure, courage, or integrity, when she handles a difficult moment with grace, when she shows emotional maturity, when she chooses character over comfort, that is when you speak. That is when your words carry weight. That is when you say calmly and directly, "What you did there was smart," or "I respect how you handled that." Then you stop. You don't pile on. You don't over-explain. You let the moment breathe, because rare approval lands deeper than 1,000 loud compliments. This is where many men misunderstand how to fall in love. They think love is built by constant reassurance, but love is built by trust, by polarity, by emotional presence, by knowing that when you speak, it matters, and when you approve, it is real. That is how attraction stabilizes instead of evaporating. Don't mistake this for coldness. This is not about being distant or dismissive. It is about being grounded, being selective, being intentional, because scarcity creates focus, and focus creates desire. When your approval is scarce in a healthy way, she doesn't feel starved. She feels engaged. She leans in. She listens more closely. She notices you more, because your words are no longer noise. They are signals, and the mind responds to signals it trusts. This is basic female psychology, not a tactic, not a trick, but a pattern rooted in emotional economy, where attention and validation function like currency, and inflation ruins currency every time. So be disciplined, be honest, be calm. Don't reward insecurity. Don't praise to soothe your fear of losing her. That never works. Instead, reward substance, reward growth, reward moments that reveal who she really is. Because when you do that, something subtle happens. She begins to value your perception. She begins to care what you notice, not because she needs you, but because she respects you. And respect is the soil where real connection grows. This is where psychology tricks fail most men. They try to manufacture desire instead of embodying value. But value is felt, not performed. When your approval is measured, when it is grounded in observation instead of impulse, it creates a quiet tension. Not anxiety, but curiosity. Not pressure, but interest. That is the difference between chasing affection and attracting it, between noise and signal, between being present and being predictable. So don't flood her world with words. Don't turn admiration into static. Be the man whose approval feels earned, whose silence is not absence but depth, whose praise feels like recognition, not reassurance. Because when approval is rare and sincere, it doesn't just feel good. It reshapes how she sees you, how she feels around you, how safe and stimulated she feels at the same time. And that balance is what sustains attraction over time. Not intensity, not drama, not constant affirmation, but clarity, selectivity, emotional self-control. That is how to fall in love without losing yourself. That is how desire stays alive without force. And that is why the men who understand this are so few. Not because the idea is complex, but because it requires restraint, awareness, and the courage to stop performing and start observing. And once you do, everything changes, quietly, steadily, in your favor. 8. She wants emotional safety without emotional softness. She does not want emotional safety wrapped in softness or hesitation. She wants emotional safety anchored in strength, certainty, and calm. Because at her core, she needs to know that when her inner world becomes loud, conflicted, uncertain, or overwhelming, you will not flinch. You will not rush to fix her. You will not judge her for feeling what she feels. She wants to be fully seen in her complexity, in her contradictions, in the parts of her that do not yet have neat answers. And she wants to feel that your presence is solid enough to hold all of it without collapsing or retreating. True emotional safety is not created by endless talking or reassurance. It is created by a man who is grounded in himself, a man whose nervous system stays steady even when hers is stirred, a man who understands that his role is not to analyze her emotions, but to remain centered while they pass. When you stay calm, when you stay anchored, when you stay present, her emotions settle naturally. This is where deep attachment is born. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." The reaction she is looking for is not drama, it is transformation through stability. In modern life, where stress, uncertainty, and constant stimulation pull people in every direction, a man who can slow the moment becomes rare, powerful, unforgettable. A man who listens without defensiveness, who witnesses without absorbing chaos. This is old Stoic wisdom in action. The understanding that mastery begins within, that you do not need to control others to create peace. You only need to govern yourself. When you do, everything around you changes. She does not want you to be her therapist. She does not want you to rescue her, and she does not want you to drown alongside her emotions. She wants you to be the shore, unmoving, reliable, strong. When a woman feels that she can express fear, frustration, or uncertainty without destabilizing you, her trust deepens, her respect grows, her attachment becomes rooted, not fragile. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength is exactly what she senses when you do not react impulsively, when you do not personalize her moods, when you do not demand emotional performance from her. Emotional safety is not about saying the perfect words. It is about embodying an iron mind that remains composed under pressure. In a world where many men confuse emotional availability with emotional volatility, the man who practices Stoicism, win principles, stands apart. He understands that presence is more persuasive than persuasion. Silence is often more powerful than advice. Steadiness builds more intimacy than intensity. Modern relationships fail, not because people do not talk enough, but because too many men become emotionally reactive, seeking validation, seeking reassurance, seeking control, while the woman is searching for grounding, leadership, and containment. When you develop that inner stability, you become the rare 1% who can satisfy this unspoken need. This is not about suppressing emotion. It is about mastering response, choosing composure over chaos, clarity over confusion, direction over drift. When you live this way, she feels safe to soften naturally, not because you asked her to, but because your presence allows it. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Your why as a man is not approval. It is self-mastery. From self-mastery flows attraction, trust, deep connection. In today's fast-moving, pressure-filled world, becoming emotionally grounded is not optional. It is essential. This is where old Stoic wisdom becomes modern power, where Stoicism win is not a slogan, but a lived discipline, where an iron mind is not cold, but calm, not distant, but deeply present. She does not attach to the man who mirrors her emotions. She attaches to the man who can stand beside them without being consumed. When you embody this, you stop chasing connection and start attracting it. Strength that is quiet, steady, and consistent always draws others in. Remember this: emotional safety is not created by fixing, saving, or explaining. It is created by presence, by steadiness, by a man who knows himself, trusts himself, and governs himself. When you master this, You do not just improve relationships, you master life itself, because the same discipline that steadies a relationship steadies your career, your decisions, your finances, and your future. This is the victory that few men achieve, but every man can earn. If this message hit home, don't just listen, act. Most men react. Very few remain grounded. That difference changes everything. Like the video, subscribe for more psychology-backed wisdom and prove to yourself you're serious about mastery. Now comment this sentence below and lock it into your identity. I am the calm presence that creates emotional safety and deep attachment. 9. She needs to feel expanded by you, not consumed by you. She needs to feel expanded by you, not consumed by you. That is the difference that separates ordinary connection from lasting attraction. Many men think closeness means constant presence, constant messaging, constant reassurance. Don't do that. Be the man who adds space, not pressure. Be the man who makes her world feel larger, clearer, and more alive. When you walk into her life, she should feel possibility, not confinement. That is not luck. That is intention. A high-value man understands this instinctively. He knows that attraction grows when a woman feels more herself around him, not less. The rare man does not center everything on himself. He does not make every conversation about his opinions, his needs, his schedule, or his emotional weather. Don't crowd her inner world. Don't orbit her life like it's the sun. Be grounded in your own direction. Have a mission. Have a rhythm. That is what creates respect. When she sees that you are whole on your own, she relaxes into being with you. This is how you attract women without chasing them. Expansion is magnetic. Neediness is exhausting. Think of it like this. A great mentor never shrinks the student to feel important. He challenges them. He sharpens them. He invites them to rise. That same principle applies here. You must challenge her to grow, not by criticism, but by example. Live in a way that quietly asks her to step up. Read more, think deeper, speak with clarity, act with purpose. When she feels sharper around you, attraction strengthens. When she feels braver around you, desire deepens. When she feels more alive around you, connection compounds. This is not theory. This is lived psychology. Don't confuse expansion with pressure. Pressure demands. Expansion invites. Pressure says, be more for me. Expansion says, there is more in you. That distinction matters. A man rooted in masculine energy does not force growth. He creates the conditions for it. His calm presence makes ambition feel safe. His certainty makes exploration feel exciting. His stability gives her permission to stretch. That is leadership without control. That is strength without noise. The problem in modern relationships is subtle. Many men think love means merging lives too quickly. Same routines, same circles, same thoughts, same goals. Don't do that. Respect her individuality. Encourage her pursuits. Ask about her ideas and actually listen. Support her curiosity. Celebrate her progress. When she feels that being with you does not erase her identity, she bonds more deeply. Paradoxical, but true. Space fuels attraction when it is held with confidence. Be careful here. Expansion does not mean emotional distance. It means emotional generosity. You can be present without being possessive. You can be interested without being intrusive. You can be committed without being consuming. That balance is rare. That balance is powerful. That balance is why a high-value man stands out in any room, even when he says very little. Contrast matters. When she has known men who drain energy, a man who multiplies it feels extraordinary. When she has experienced relationships that narrowed her world, a man who opens doors feels unforgettable. This is why attraction does not fade around you. It compounds. Each interaction adds momentum. Each conversation leaves her more inspired than before. Each shared moment reinforces the feeling that life is bigger with you in it. You must also watch your language. Don't interrupt her dreams with doubt. Don't downplay her ambitions with jokes disguised as realism. Be the man who says, go further. Be the man who asks, what else do you want? That question alone can change the emotional direction of a relationship. It signals belief. It signals confidence. It signals that you are not threatened by her growth. That is pure masculine energy expressed with maturity. There is a quiet confidence in men who are not afraid of a woman becoming more. Some men shrink when a woman grows. Don't be that man. Be the one who knows that growth is not competition. Growth is alignment. When she rises, you rise. When she expands, the relationship expands. That is how you attract women who are vibrant, intelligent, and alive. Metaphor helps here. Think of yourself as a horizon, not a cage. A horizon invites movement. A cage restricts it. She should feel that with you, the horizon keeps widening. More ideas, more courage, more self-trust. That feeling becomes addictive in the healthiest way. She associates you with momentum, with forward motion, with possibility. Attraction thrives on that association. Be deliberate. Expansion does not happen accidentally. You must live a life that inspires growth simply by being observed. Have standards, have discipline, take care of your body, sharpen your mind, build something meaningful, not to impress her, but to honor yourself. When you do, she feels it. She senses that being close to you pulls her upward. That is the invisible advantage of a high-value man. Don't overteach. Don't lecture. Lead by example. When she asks for your opinion, give it clearly. When she shares an idea, explore it with curiosity. When she hesitates, steady the ground beneath her feet. This is not about control. This is about confidence. This is how masculine energy shows up in real life. Calm, assured, directional. Remember this. Attraction fades when stagnation sets in. Attraction compounds when growth becomes shared oxygen. Be the man who brings fresh air into her world. Be the man who leaves every space better than he found it. Be the man whose presence feels like expansion, not expectation. That is how you create connection that deepens over time instead of burning out. You must choose this consciously. Don't drift into comfort without direction. Don't confuse familiarity with progress. Keep evolving. Invite her to evolve with you, not because you need her to change, but because growth is your natural state. When she feels that energy consistently, attraction becomes effortless. That is how you attract women without manipulation. That is how desire becomes sustainable. In the end, this is simple, but not easy. Make her world bigger. Make her thinking sharper. Make her feel more alive. Don't consume her attention. Earn it. Don't shrink her life. Expand it. That is the quiet power of a man who understands what most never do. Hey, my friend, thanks for staying with me until the very end. These 9 needs may sound simple, but very few men truly have the strength to understand and apply them correctly. Keeping desire without chasing, being unpredictable without being fake, confronting with respect, creating attraction without trying too hard, staying independent, leading with confidence, and giving validation only when it's truly earned. A man who masters these doesn't need to chase anyone. My sincere advice to you is this: stop trying to please everyone. Focus on building your own value, discipline, and inner strength. When you stand firm, speak less, but act with certainty, your energy naturally draws people toward you. Take your time and work on each one step by step. You'll be surprised how much your relationships begin to shift in a positive direction. I'll see you in the next video.